by the highway department, go down Smith Road, it is at the very end of the road. We plan on housing somewhere between 4 and 6 prisoners, with the emphasis, these are still inmates of the Hampton County Jail when they live there. These people have to have shown exceptional behavior skills and want to break the cycle of drugs while they're in the jail. And once they have done that, then they will go before a committee to get approval to become part of the residential program, which they will live at Banner Hope Center. Exactly who's preparing meals, I was hoping James would be here, because I'm not sure who's doing that.
He will be here later.
Okay. He's working himself out to be late. Okay, we'll expect him
I got
later.
to the school, second award, the school board meeting, he'll be here.
Oh, okay, that's where he is, okay. And you have the personnel that's gonna be involved in this listed in the handout. Dustin Wrinkle is going to be probably the lead person. Somewhere there, you will find Dustin. And Rusty Beck will be the administrator, but he will only be part-time. Basically, Banner Hope Center is going to be the other paid person in this, and he'll be part-time and as needed, is James Bentley. They will be, the Banner Hope Center will be one of the main vendors for this. They will submit invoices to James, and James will submit them on to the treasurer's office or to Karen, whichever one gets it first, to get paid. And anyway, it's a 2-year grant, renewable if we show success. Questions?
The only question I have is that myself and another, well, I don't mind telling you, Mr. Darling, had a question about was we're supportive of the grant, but as long as it doesn't, this grant pays for all of it, and it doesn't, if any county money comes out of it, then Ed and I both think the financial committee need to look at the budget and look at the financial end of it before, like if we need to approve a deputy or whatever, that we review that before. And that's what he talked to James about it, I think, the other day. And but what I'm understanding is the grant's going to pay for everything right now. And then if there's any issue that comes up later about having to hire a deputy or whatever, I say we bring it to the Quorum Court, take it to the budget committee first and see if we've got enough in the budget to allocate, or that will be a decision later to be made.
And Karen makes the point that it is a reimbursable grant. Whatever invoices that are submitted to county, once they are paid, then that we submit those on to whoever gave us the money. Anyway, it's the RSAT program, and I'm not sure who operates the RSAT program out of Little Rock, but whether it's do you know?
I don't remember. I didn't bring that grant paperwork with me.
So these people are all going to be employed by the county?
No.
The grant.
There's only 2
The
people.
grant has 3 positions,
Yes.
1 full-time and 2 part-time.
James
It's
Bentley,
specified in the grant, yes.
James Bentley,
The county
Rusty
employee.
Beck, and
Yes.
Dustin Wrinkle are the 3 people that will actually get paid.
Who?
James Bentley, Rusty Beck, and Dustin Wrinkle. Dustin Wrinkle's position is full-time, the other 2 are part-time.
And they already are employees of the Hempstead County?
2 of them are.
2 of
The
them
other
are.
one has
James
not.
Bentley has not submitted
Yeah.
paperwork.
Do we have any county employees involved?
No,
Okay,
not current county employees, no.
okay.
Just the two that he hired on to do this.
Now, let me add this to that. James has told me that as long as these people are prisoners of Hempstead County, there will be a jailer or deputy there full-time. Now, exactly how he's going to arrange his personnel to accomplish that, I don't know that. I was hoping he's gonna be here to explain that tonight. But these people will learn trades. There will be some automotive mechanic classes, and there will be some classes in, who's the other one? Automotive mechanics and electrical. Anyway, there's two trades that they're gonna learn. They'll be available to them to learn those trades, to give them something to get a job with when they finish the program. But then mostly what they're gonna do is learn how to break the cycle.
Question. This is the program that originally was for housing juveniles that we had to.
No,
No,
No. This is where we were gonna do that. At the
No.
Midas
no,
Center.
Next to
no,
it.
this
Next
will
to
be
it's
at,
down
this,
past it.
this will be at the end of the road.
Do we own that building?
No.
No, First Baptist
Are
Church
we
does.
responsible
Baptist
for all
Church.
the liability of these prisoners and, well, if they're prisoners,
First Baptist Church will be carrying the liability.
well, I mean, I'm just asking questions that I think need to be asked.
Yes,
I don't mean to be ugly.
I'm
That's a
good
good
with you
question.
asking questions. And we need to be open and upfront about what we're doing.
Plus, the other thing I have a question about, you know, he said he's gonna have security. I don't want him leaving what these people are doing short of what he's already using these people for. So, I mean, you know, I guess he's got the staff to do this.
So I'm assuming that, I mean, I made a comment to myself before I came. This kind of gets old when we come, for me, that something's presented, that I have to read about it and vote on it that night and did not have the opportunity to ask all the questions that hold us up and things like that. I don't quite get that. I don't know where that's coming from, but that, okay. Is this a bona fide program approved by the state?
Yes, this is modeled, what we're gonna do is gonna be modeled after a program that Sevier County has been doing for
Oh, okay. So that
5,
answers a lot of
6
questions.
years. And I guess we are the second county to become involved in this program that, but Sevier County has had wonderful results with it.
It's a proven good result.
Sheriff and another person from Sevier County came down and presented this to a group of people at First Baptist Church. And James made sure that James Engel made sure I was there. I sat in on it. Those people made lots of sense. And they're having wonderful success with it. Now, if we can have 3/4 of the success that Sevier County is having, it'll be well worth our time to be involved in it. This is a 2-year grant, which is really more money than we expected to get when we first made the application. I agree with you that this should have been presented to the court earlier than what it's been doing. James has known that he had the grant since when? January or
End
late
of the year,
December?
late December.
So he's known he's had the grant for about 6 weeks.
Is there an anticipated start date for,
It has already
It's already
started. It started the 1st of February.
But it's a great opportunity for this county that
Wasn't it?
will help some needed people that needs to be helped.
And in my opinion, we need probably to submitted this ordinance at the January meeting, but for whatever reason, James didn't have the ordinance ready. James Single, not James Griffin. We don't get too many Jameses here going, Jay.
But this is something that's gonna help people's lives.
Oh, I don't doubt that, I have no doubt at all, I'm talking about the infrastructure, the structure of it and everything. I had no idea, Sevier County had one, I have nothing.
Yeah,
So my
we're
questions are
not-
based on just questions I think I should ask as a board member.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
we're,
Well,
not the front
liability
runner.
is a very important question.
yes, it's the most important.
Yes.
Liability
I agree.
for a whole lot of areas. Evidently now, I didn't quite get all the time to read it. Are they gonna be dispensing the drugs on site?
Dispensing the drugs?
We're not gonna be dispensing drugs.
They're not gonna be dispensing drugs. That's what
These
we're
are
trying to
drugs
get out
people
of,
trying to get
drugs.
off of.
Well, yeah, but in the process of getting off, you have to dispense certain kinds of drugs.
No, they will not. It, you know,
Okay.
they've already been in jail for at least 90 days. They are out because they have been in jail for 90 days. We've already been feeding them for 90 days. And at that period of time, then they will go for a committee to get approval to become part of the program. And of course, probably at any one time, we've got housed over across the way 30 or 40 people that's in there for either dealing or doing drugs. And we will have a max of 6 that will move to Banner Hope at one time.
James, are these people waiting to go to prison, or these people that the judge done sentenced to 90 days or 60 days?
You want to tackle that one?
I mean,
These people will really be already sentenced. I'm gonna let Ben
they'll
talk about
be, they'll
that.
be waiting to, I just asked, they'll be waiting to go to prison.
No, they're not going to
No.
prison. If they're successful with this
No,
program, they're
it's
gonna
fine.
go.
I'll just address it from here. The idea behind it is, no one's going to prison. This is all, and that's really why the state's supporting it, right? Because we know the prisons are overloaded, right? The beds are overloaded. So anything we can do to keep them from going to prison, and like Mr. Griffin was talking about, break the cycle. So the idea is the first 3 months is inpatient or housed here in the jail, and then 9 months of aftercare at the Banner of Hope that y'all are talking about. So, and the other thing that I do hope everybody understands, I know it's kind of difficult, once they're sentenced, that's when their 90 days starts, okay? It's when the program starts, it's a year from that day, full. But a lot of the people that are sentenced have already been in jail, right? Because they've already been arrested, and that's why we're sentencing them, right? So they haven't got out on bond. We've got at least one of the defendants that was already sentenced into the program. But the other thing that I hope is clear, this is a supplement to what we were already doing in the prosecution. So what I mean is, there's only so many alternatives that we have in a disposition. One is prison, of course. Another is a probated sentence or suspended sentence. There's an alternative, it's called Department of Community Correction, which is for drug offenders. The problem is not everybody is eligible for programs like drug court or DCC, which is not prison. So if I have somebody here who is reoffended on drugs multiple times and they're felony substances, it's either prison or nothing, basically. You see what I'm saying? So this gives us an alternative for that middle ground if they're not eligible for drug court or DCC. So I hope that's clear.
So-
And my name's Ben Hill, by the way.
So who picks these people?
The committee, it should be in there.
It says that the panel consists of law enforcement, jail personnel, prosecuting attorney's office, mental health personnel, and substance abuse counselors.
And I'm here to help with any questions you may have, but I don't want to take away from the Quorum Court.
No, fine, thank you.
Sherry, this has been happening in Sevier County for quite a few years, and my counterpart also partners with them on this. She provides financial education and some other parenting classes as the individuals are progressing through the program. Those that have been conducting the program have seen such a success rate that they're about 80% have succeeded, and their recidivism, and that means people that have come back
Right,
in,
yeah.
has decreased drastically. And that alone is part of the reason why you're wanting this, is so that you don't have the people coming back to the jail. Whereas, you have someone in, they stay there for a period of time, and then you kick them back out, and then all of a sudden, they're back
They're
in
right back.
again. This is hoping to break that cycle completely.
I'm not asking questions because I'm against it. My daddy was a
No, no, no,
policeman.
just for education on the program.
Being
But
correct,
put a number to that, I mean, think about just if somebody's been arrested 6, 7 times, and they've stayed in the jail 30 days in each of those arrests, right? Over the course of 5 years, it's pretty easy to see how the number adds up. Well, we've got hundreds of people in Hempstead and Nevada counties that, you know, suffer that problem. So the idea is, well, let's try to create a program and focus on it for 90 days, give them a better chance. We're modeling after the success of Sevier County, which I will give a little credit to Jerry Crane. They kind of stole the idea from Jerry when he was the sheriff here. Some of the things he was doing in the jail, they just added to and they were able to get funded by the state.
And we had a lot of local ministers helping in that too.
Yeah, a lot of volunteers. I think that's the big thing. And the other part of this that's not mentioned, which isn't really having to do with funding, but I do think this is, because I know y'all are all influential people in your community. But what the idea here is to bring all these different factors that we have, factions that we have in the community. There's, like she was talking about financial planning. It's such an important part. There's these resources that are here in the community, but getting them all together and working together in this program is what the goal is. There's also a network of support, not only for the defendant, but the defendant's family, which I think is so important because usually, and I've just talked to a lot of parents who are just at their, their wits' end with their kids because, they've robbed them blind, they've taken all their money, they've sent them to rehab after rehab, they've got nothing else. So those people need a lot of support too, and that's another piece of this full picture, so.
Is this kind of the one that the Harris man does in Little Rock? The football player?
That's Muskie Harris.
Muskie.
That's a different one, so, and that's a good point though. So that's something we do too, but that's kind of a long-term rehab, okay? And so we have those, but here's the problem. We didn't have anything really local, right, here in Hempstead County, so they could go get clean and basically do the same things that this program is doing, but they would do it in, Little Rock, Conway, or somewhere else. They come back to Hempstead County, and what are they doing? They're with their same people, right? And so that's really the beauty of this, and I will give, First Baptist Church some credit on this. The idea is to build that collective ministry to support each other through that process, not only for the defendants, but also for their family and friends, and then they can help each other through it. And it's not that we don't want to prosecute people that break the law, it's just we have such limited resources, we have to use them in a way that is going to make most sense for us as taxpayers. That's really the idea behind it.
It completely, what it does, really, it reduces the repeat offenders and gets them back on track to get back in society off of these things. And it's a program that educates them to learn how to live with society without dealing with their bad habits. So it's a great program.
these people that would be there, they're gonna, Ben, correct me on any of this if I'm wrong, they're gonna be sentenced to at least a year in jail.
Well,
But under normal circumstances, they wouldn't spend that entire year in jail. You would accept.
it's actually more serious than that, but
Okay.
yes, that's kind of, all right, every one of the people that is, I'll just be very clear here because I think this is a good point. Every one of the people that is being sentenced into this program right now, Sevier County, they've gotten to a point so far in their development that they're actually doing misdemeanors, which is a year-long, right, punishment, potentially. But every one of the defendants that was this, we've got 3 first class, okay, that have been sentenced to, they're sentenced for felonies, okay? So these are people, most likely, and at least the 3 that were sentenced, I would have really had nothing else to do but send them to prison. That's it. Nothing else I would have been able to do with those 3 recommended.
Right.
Okay? And the court would have imposed that punishment. But the point is, because we didn't give them a probated sentence, they also have that probation hanging over their head, okay? So what I mean is, not only did they have to complete this RSAT program, that's what I was talking about, it's in addition to what we're already doing. They've also got, when they get out, they've got to report to probation. That's just part of the normal prosecutorial process that we're doing here. Okay, so that's another layer in our community that's gonna be checking up on these people, right, on top of that. The point is, depending on the severity of those felonies, if they mess up, if they have anything wrong, potentially they could be looking at a lot more time in prison. Does that make sense? Because that probation can be
Sure.
revoked, and the court can impose a sentence at a later date. So, but as to the sentence itself, it is only 90 days in jail, okay? And it's really, the way we did it, if the court were to sentence them to 90 days, period, in jail, doesn't matter what they do. If they get in and they flunk out in 10 days, they still have to do 90 days. We don't want to do it that way, okay? So what we did is we made the RSAT just a condition of the probation. It's an additional condition. So the point is they have to complete the RSAT program. So let's say they do 90 days in jail, right? And then 3 months when they get out, they mess up, okay? And it's a serious mess up, right? So instead of us saying, well, that 90 days was all you were sentenced to, because that would be the sentence imposed by the court, I can still hold that prison time against them. Does that make sense? We've deferred that prison sentence. If
Sure.
it was just a 90-day sentence, the court can't re-sentence them again. Does that make some
Yes.
sense? That was a little bit
Got that.
confusing.
Well, I think also, most of these guys are going to be where they could actually be on the street quicker if they do not volunteer to be in the RSAT program. Is that correct, Ben? Because these guys are volunteering to go into a 9-month program
To get clean.
to get clean where they could get back on the street quicker. If they says, no, I'm gonna sit in jail till I can get out of jail and go do what I want to.
In some cases, yes, okay, possibly. And I'm not sure I quite completely understand the question, but let me say this. These 3 defendants, right, for us, in the negotiation, when we talk about plea negotiations, this was all 3 of these defendants, I would have recommended an ADC sentence, a prison sentence, is what I'm saying. So there's no possible way that it got any better than doing this RSAT. So this RSAT is essentially, and that's how Sevier County uses it, the prosecutor over there. They don't do it well, they know what they're looking at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so, at least in response to the question, they would have got out sooner if they didn't do the RSAT program? No, that's not correct.
Okay.
Because the alternative, at least in my mind, now, it's always up to the court, and this is something, read in the paper today, the court always has the authority to overrule the prosecutor. Always has the authority. We make a recommendation, the court imposes the sentence. So, the point being is, as to the time that they serve, yes, some people may not want to plea, and we did have a defendant that did that. We thought he was going to be a good candidate for RSAT, and I know I'm taking up too much of your time. I apologize, I can talk about this all day.
Thank you for being here.
We just voted for it, we need to know.
The point being is, we had a defendant we thought would be a good candidate, expressed interest. He decided he'd rather do something else. Well, now the court has already sentenced him to 20 years in prison, okay? So between the two, it's pretty easy to decide what you'd rather do. It's pretty easy for us to decide too. We would rather them have an option like this. We can't make them do it though. It's gotta be their choice. So, and then, of course, the leverage we keep, I say leverage, that's how I speak of cases, is if we have leverage over the defendant, we got the stick and the carrot. That's the only 2 things we have, right? And, sometimes we try to use the stick. We can keep from using the stick. We want to do that. So, but we like to keep the stick over. So that's really kind of the motivation.
All right, we'll go forward with this. Roll call.
Ashley,
Yes.
Brown, Clayton,
Yes.
Griffin,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
LaRue,
Yes.
Steed,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes,
Whitlock.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Taylor. Before we adjourn, I got one thing I want to say. We had a little rumor going on here lately that we're going to be moving in to the new courthouse next week. That's not true. We are beginning to move some things. We're going to have open house or allow people to walk through next Tuesday and Wednesday. At what time, Steve?
We're gonna do that 9 to 3 Tuesday and Wednesday, And then Tuesday afternoon, when people work that are not able to come, we're gonna open it back up at 5 and go to 7. So those people do, and we will have, committee people that are on it. Any other Quorum Court members wanna come and help us tour those people, that's fine. We're gonna meet about 8:30 Tuesday morning and discuss how we're gonna tour it. And then we're gonna tour, open the tour up to show them the new building.
Thank you.
The people have not moved in, but they'll be able to see what it'll be like and how nice it is. And I think I showed, Jesse this afternoon, and I think should be very proud of what we got.
This courthouse in the state of Arkansas.
Amen. I agree with that.
It is.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Did y'all see where, Boone County was buying a Presbyterian